felt on the left-hand side. Our bathrooms for ladies, you go out this door, and before you reach the main door, it's on the left-hand side. For the gents, you go out this door, and it's just on the short right. I would like now to call our wonderful president, Eve Lodi.
So happy for the latecomers because you just added to our intimate circle. Welcome.
Thank you.
Good morning, everybody, to the 113th Brighton Breakfast Toastmasters.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were saying something. Welcome, Judy, a fellow member from Fourth Dimension. If you'd like to share with us why you're with us today, apart from the fact that you have a role, but what made you choose us?
Well, I chose you guys because some of our previous members have been here. So I'd obviously heard about the breakfast club from the likes of Clinton. I think he presented here with you. Yes, and you're nearby, and it was a convenient time. So here I am. I can tick another box today.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Welcome. And we have two non-member guests visiting us today. Londiwe, welcome.
Thank you.
Feel free to tell us anything about yourself or why you're here, or you're welcome to pass to.
Okay, so this is my second time here. Being referred by Accenture, which is where I work currently. Yeah, so I have a few points that I want, or things that I want to achieve from this class. And for all that I can say, I'm still enjoying being here.
Thank you. Welcome again. Mr. Fred?
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you.
We're happy to have you.
Thank you. Happy to be here. Yeah, it's my third time here, and yeah, I'm enjoying the classes and the people. So I'm just hoping to become a member, improve my speaking skills, especially presentation-wise, and yeah, just enjoying it. Thank you.
We had a super busy program scheduled for today. It's eased a little bit because one of our speakers has pulled out due to ill health. But I do want to hand over fairly promptly to our Toastmaster. But just to share one thought with you, and as a reminder, our annual theme is Better Than You Think. And I suppose I encourage myself, so I wanted to share that with you, that people are better than you think. And try and develop a default of kindness in as many human interactions as you can, because you never know what anybody else is going through. So that would be my little thought to share. Mr. Hugo Rubatika, would you like to come up, please? Thank you for putting your hand up to be our Toastmaster with your theme of the art of communication. I'm sorry, I'm having a dizzy morning because I haven't actually finished what I need to do. A couple of things to please remind you of. Most of you know, but Londiwe and Judy, you may not know, we have a Big Mug Award. And so on one of the slips of square white paper in front of you, just keep track of anything that anybody does that's ludicrous, funny, daft, and we will hand them in and we award the big mug to someone later at the end of the meeting. Thank you. We actually need to induct our Toastmaster today. He's been a member for a little while, but we just, for all sorts of reasons, haven't inducted him, so I'd like to call you up to do that. membership in Toastmasters is a privilege, and the only way to gain the benefits of our program is to actively participate. Do you, Hugo Lulatika, promise to be an active member of this club, to attend meetings regularly and prepare fully for your duties? Do you promise to prepare your speeches to the best of your ability and in line with the Toastmasters international manuals? To prepare for and fulfill meeting assignments? To provide members helpful constructive evaluations? To help the club maintain the positive, friendly environment necessary for all members to go info? To serve as a club officer when called upon to do so? To treat our fellow club members and guests with respect and courtesy? To bring guests to club meetings so they can see the benefits Toastmasters membership offers? To adhere to the guidelines and rules of all Toastmasters programs? To maintain honesty and highly ethical standards during the conduct of all Toastmasters activities?
I do.
Would the members of our club please stand? Do you, members of Bryanston Breakfast Club Toastmasters, promise to support Hugo as he works through the Toastmasters program?
We do.
It is my pleasure to declare you installed as a new member of Bryanston Breakfast Toastmasters. Yes.
This is so cool.
You're now official.
1, 2, 3.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Acknowledging some educational achievements. Level 2, although I think she's almost finished level 3. Monica, well done. It's too late. We'll just pretend someone's
Okay,
Oh.
I'll take one.
Make sure they sign something. Come here in front of the sign. Thank you. And you can stay up here now after this. But to Hugo, he actually presented his icebreaker a couple of meetings ago, so well done on that. No problem. All yours.
All the awards. You go.
Just a couple. Thank you, Madam President. Very good morning, Toastmasters, visitors, and guests. I have to say I'm mildly disappointed. The last time I got to say I do, I got to kiss a girl. So, it didn't happen today, did it?
Oh, Lynn.
So I was barely halfway through high school when I'd earned myself the title of the truant in chief. Skipping school, being rowdy in class, and making fun of teachers behind their backs was my staple food. Innocent fun as it might have seemed at the time, I eventually realized that I didn't want to see out the rest of my high school years without any accolades. And with that thought in mind, I set a plan of action. I hired Miss Goody Two Shoes, and she was quite happy to direct mission, Reinvent Hugo. The results, I just missed out on being a deputy head boy by a whisker, who was senior prefect, football captain, public speaking president, and debate captain. That was my first encounter with the art of reinvention. We all evolve. Change is an absolute. Life is about mental, physical, and spiritual growth. The more introspection, the faster there is growth. Sometimes we need to accelerate our growth, and this, ladies and gentlemen, may require reinvention. A very good morning and welcome to today's meeting. My name is Hugo de Batika and I will be your Toastmaster. So if you will, think about reinvention, how you can do it, why you need to do it, and during the course of the meeting we'll bring up a number of areas that might be able to assist you. This meeting would not be possible, well certainly would not be a good meeting, without a number of role players. And I'd like to call on these individuals and ask them to tell us a little bit about the roles that they will play during the course of this meeting. First up, Ewan Kelly is our evaluation chair.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. As evaluation chair, I'm overall, could say in command of the evaluators. I also have to evaluate a speech. And the thing is, what we're trying to do is to find areas where there could be improvement and make suggestions. And to keep the meeting, well that's the timekeeper's job, but to keep the meeting running to order.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Mr. Evaluation Chair. Judy Sinaski is our Table Topics Master. Judy, if you will.
So my duty today is to present table topics and that is to give you a chance to speak and think on your feet. So that is what I will be doing today.
Thank you very much, Judy. Our evaluation chair mentioned timekeeping. Kobus Marburg is the timekeeper. Kobus.
Morning everyone. My role today is to time everybody and be the... Come on guys, finish up now. Right. My job is to time all the speeches and the table topics and everything that's happening today to make sure that we finish on time with our meeting. All our speeches except for one is 5 to 7 minutes, which means at 5 minutes we'll get the green light, at 6 minutes we'll get the orange one, and at 7 minutes we get red. When you see red, it's time to go. And then there's one panel discussion here for 25 minutes with Harold. I think I'm going to do the green at 20, and at 22 and a half I'm going to do orange, and at 25 I'm going to go red.
Can you do it 18, 19, 20, because then there's a short
Okay,
feedback after.
cool. 18, 19 and 20 it is. Cool. And that is that. Thank you very much.
Madam President, you're our grammarian, if you will.
Toastmaster. As the grammarian, I am required to listen and record any awkward use or misuse of the English language. Where possible, try to offer the correct usage as a better alternative. To listen and record creative use of the language, good choice of words and vivid word pictures. And try to identify figures of speech used by the speakers and explain them. I'm also responsible for choosing a word of the day, introducing it to the meeting. Should I do that now?
Please do.
Okay. So the word of the day is perspective. A way of thinking about something, a point of view. Used in sentences, you can call it brave or foolish, depending on your perspective. The book deals with a woman's perspective on revolutionary change. The problem needs to be looked at from a historical perspective. So I will record those who use the word of the day correctly, and where used incorrectly, I'll try to offer a correction.
From my perspective, we'll never understand women.
Shots fired.
I suspect, in my perspective, that, well, in this perspective, they might be grammatically incorrect.
Don't be, you are brave.
I see.
And then Neves is the R counter, if you will.
Good day. As R counter, my job is to listen to all the speakers and make notes of words and sounds used as pause fillers used too often or repeated consecutively by anyone who speaks during the meeting. Words such as are, or, and well, but, so you know. The intent is not so much to catch speakers, but more to help make you aware of crutch words which you may be using out of habit, which takes away from your speaking experience. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Most of you already have seen Monica up here. She is the meeting's surgeon at arms today, and a big thank you again to Nay for handling registration. We will now promptly go to one of the more exciting parts of the meeting, and that is the prepared speeches. Speaking first is Adrian Hind, and his evaluator is Dina Feeney. Dina, please tell us the objectives of Adrian's speech.
Thank you, Hugo. So, Adrian is speaking from the Pathways tutorial, and his speech is, the purpose of his project is for the member to learn or review a basic research methods and present a well-organized and well-researched speech on any topic he chooses. Adrian and myself have had a discussion on what he would like to work on, and we will be discussing how he does during the evaluation session. Cool. Thanks, Hugo. Good luck,
Thank you
Adrian.
very much. As Adrian walks up, he says, as a septuagenarian, there have been milestones where he's had to reinvent himself. The transition from school to university, from university to work, and from work to the external environment. Adrian will speak for 5 to 7 minutes. His speech is entitled Gourmet Cooking. Gourmet Cooking, Adrian Hind.
I'm going to put it to the side there. I've got a few props. Mr. Toastmaster, ladies and gentlemen, I know we've got people who are members here, we've got visitors, and we've got potential members. Now, my topic, I mentioned that I'm going through a transition in life at the moment, from being a working man. I do the occasional bit of consulting, but now I'm in retirement. And I thought I'd talk about gourmet cooking. Now, I've always been able to cook, and I've been a bachelor. I know how to fry an egg, I know how to boil potatoes, I know how to use sauces. I always use HP sauce, which is by appointment of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth. So that's kind of talking gourmet there. The one thing that I've learned only a week ago is that I can boil an egg perfectly. Absolutely. If you want it hard, if you want it medium, or in between. Have you ever seen one of these? No. You put it in the water. You put it in the water, and it changes colour. And as the colour spreads across the little gizmo there, you know whether it's medium, hard, or anywhere in between. Anyway, as I say, I know how to cook the basics there. But I think most families, it's the wife, it's the woman who does all the cooking. Would you agree?
Yep.
No. My wife is a very good cook indeed, but I do have a helping hand from time to time. I will serve the drinks. And what else do I do? I will wash the dishes. So that's where I am at the moment there. And then, how did I get this idea of trying to be a gourmet cook? There's no real motivation for me at the retirement village. We have fine dining once a week. we have a situation where our levy, 630 Rand, goes to prepared meals, and if you don't use it, you lose it. Anyway, I have decided that there have been times in my life when I've been inspired. Now, back in the 1980s, there was a gentleman, a TV personality, a chef with great note, and his name was Keith Floyd. Anyone heard of Keith Floyd?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now one of the things I loved about his program there is that every recipe that he had there, you had the opportunity to spice up a little bit with alcohol. And I think every time I watched it, there was always probably half a bottle of red wine that went into the dish that it was actually serving there. And that was great entertainment, great entertainment. But I had no inclination of trying to do the same stuff. It was just pure entertainment for me. And then there was, who else came on the scene in later years? You all know about Jamie Oliver, no doubt, and Gordon Ramsay. They were also very entertaining characters there. But still, I wasn't really inspired until a little while ago. My wife got a birthday present. This was a voucher for a romantic couples evening at Taste Buds. Anybody been there? Oh, I can advise you if you want a romantic evening, that's the place to go. It's a cooking, what would you call it? A place where you can learn to cook, and they have these special evenings where you all get together and you're greeted with complimentary glass of sherry, things like that. We even have that in our fine dining in the village there. We start off with a little bit of sherry there. And then we have the situation where we put on our aprons and then we look at all this tremendous amount of food and spices and things on the table there. And then people now tell us that we've got to make these dishes. And the business of fiddling around and cutting and chopping, not really knowing what we're doing, putting stuff in the oven there was really, really quite exciting. So this got me a little bit sort of motivated that maybe there is something to this gourmet cooking. And it so happened, not shortly afterwards, I found out in our village that people with every sort of background you can think of, and one of them, a Scotsman by the name of John Cullen, who became my mentor in gourmet cooking. So my first attempt was to make a crustless tuna tart. And I realized if you go to a cookery book, then yeah, basically they tell you what to do there. But sitting down there at the dining table, at the kitchen table there, and following his instructions, how you sort of toss things and cut things, there's a lot of sort of practical issues that you can do there. So that was very, very, very successful. And I made something else. I made well, I have to show you this one. This is, where is it? I lost it. I must have got it down somewhere. But don't worry, it's a beautiful, healthy banana cake there. Anyway, to cut a long story short, I decided, because of this meeting today, that I better do some research. So I did some research. Well, the first thing I had to do was buy myself a cookbook with 850 beautiful coloured illustrations there. And then the other thing I had to do was I know how to cook things in hot plates, but there's an inside to an oven, so I had to download the DeFi oven, and on the left-hand knob there are these little bars and squiggly things, and things that look like fans there, so I had to learn all about that. And on my research, I realised that it's an art form. The plate is your palette, the plate is your canvas, and the foods are your colours. There's so many senses. It's not just a visual thing. There's this taste, there's this texture, and there's a thing called thermoception. Do you know what thermoception is? It's the sense of temperature. You know, you have cold ice cream, you have hot things as well. So I am now really fired up to do some gourmet cooking. And I've decided I'm going to make a pledge to my wife. You have to sort of follow me on this one to make sure I honor my pledge. That I will make her a lovely gourmet meal once a month for the next month. Thank you, Mr. Moses. There it is, there's mine.
Banana.
Thank you very much, Adrian. Beautiful, healthy banana cake. When I do with a health check, I'm not entirely sure she'll agree with that too. Quite like the new word that I picked up there. Thermoception. Very, very interesting. Thank you again. Our next speaker is Harold Robinson, and he will speak on pathways at level 3. Fortune Mawonga is the evaluator. Fortune, please tell us the observations from Harold's speech.
Okay, good morning. The purpose of Harold's speech is to work with a group of people and to practice reaching a consensus on any topic. The speech is limited to 20 minutes according to what I'm reading, and what I should listen for is a well-facilitated discussion about the topic being discussed. The member should show respect for all ideas and contributions, regardless of their relevance. The member should give each team member an opportunity to speak. Good luck, Harold.
As Harold comes up, he says, I reinvent myself so often that sometimes I feel like a chameleon. It puts a fresh perspective on life every time, he says. Harold Robinson, the winner is Harold Robinson.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. This assignment will be a meeting. We are going to discuss the awards that we have as a club. And I've selected a few of our committee members, or should I say they volunteered, to be part of the meeting. So we're going to meet in the middle here and have a discussion on the awards that we have, meetings, education awards and annual awards, depending on whether we have time or not. So I'll just ask you to give us a minute to set up and we'll start the meeting after that. Lynn, Adrian, Malay and Dino will be joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me in this assignment. As I prepped you, we will be talking about meeting awards. And I just, as a suggestion, I suggest the process we go through is, I'm going to talk about 3 possible awards, but let's just start with meeting awards. And if we reach some sort of a consensus on that, we'll go on to education and then annual awards. I also suggest, just as a start, I'm going to ask each of you just to give your perspective on meeting awards, what you think, or if you have any strong feelings on it. And then we'll just have a roundtable discussion after. Are you happy with that? Sure. Okay. When the time hits 18 minutes, we'll stop the conversation, whether we've reached consensus or not, and then I'll get each of you to do a wrap up, if that's okay as well. All right. Thank you very much. Lynn, would you like to just start about meeting awards, what you feel that the relevance is, or whether we should do it or not?
So just to remind us as a group what our meeting awards are, we have 3. Best speaker, best evaluator, and best table topics speaker.
And Genie of the Day as well.
Genie of
Oh, I
the
beg
day,
your pardon.
yes,
And
yes.
Genie of the Day. Yes. Well, let me start with Genie of the Day. I think it's lovely for something that's being done by somebody at the meeting, but I also equally think it doesn't have to be done at every single meeting, because sometimes it just isn't a genie moment. I think we need to consider what motivates different types of personalities, and then weight those motivations. There's a debate for should we compete with ourselves or should we compete with others? I'll leave it there.
Okay, thanks. Anna?
I would like to propose that we only have awards for our table topics. The reason is because we've got all kinds of levels of speakers, and it is not always fair to compete against each other. I believe that we need to compete against our own goals, but with table topics, it is a lot more fair, and I believe we've got an even playing ground there, only there.
Is it possible that people who are more experienced in table topics have an advantage over those that don't? The same as speakers?
That is true. That is a very good point as well.
Okay, but I understand where you come from. Thank you. Okay, anything else?
That's what I've got to add.
Thanks on that. Dino?
So we're just going to be talking about the daily awards, right?
The meeting awards.
Meeting
correct.
awards.
Yes.
So for myself, coming into Toastmasters is everybody's on different grounds, different levels that they're coming in at. So I may be at a very low level, struggling to speak, but throughout every single meeting I'm going to be progressing. And I don't personally agree that we should be measuring that somebody is where they are at that specific moment to another person's area that they are at, because Toastmasters is about lifting the people up to a level that they're striving for. Like personally, I may not want to be a presenter on Super Sport and be very succinct. Maybe I just want to get up and just make sure that my information that's coming across is just clear, and I don't have a lot of ums and ahs. So why should I be measured against a person like Hugo? So because we're not on the same, we don't have the same goals. And I personally do believe if you do want to go into that avenue, we have competitions in Toastmasters, which is absolutely fantastic to enter. I think it's very beneficial. So for me, I'll opt out of having the prepared speakers prepared speakers awards, and also table topics and evaluations, to be honest. So I'll be opting out for that.
One thing I agree with, I also get intimidated when a beginner like you guys speaks better than an experienced Toastmaster. Thanks very much. Adrian?
Yeah, I guess I'm sensitive to the issue of the Best Speaker Award there, because there are sort of people who speak very well, and as Dina says, we have our own sort of goals that we want to achieve. And as a regular winner of the faux pas of the day, the Genie Award, I'm quite happy to have that as an award. But there is this issue of the best speeches. You do have the situation where the same people sort of get awarded the best speech, and I'm a little bit concerned about that. I'm not going to say that we should ban it totally, but maybe if somebody wins 3 times in a row, and this poor me here, I've never had a Best Speaker Award yet. Only get the Genie Award. But I think it could be structured in such a way, just thinking now in terms of, instead of just being the best speech, maybe have a little bit of variety there. The best speech in terms of innovation, the best speech in terms of the lack of ums and ahs or something like that. Maybe one could have a little bit of variety in terms of how the Best Speaker Award is thought through. Certainly the table topics, I think that's a lot of fun. We all have a go there, and I have no reservations about having an award for the best table topic speaker.
Okay. When you say recognize or put variety into it.
Into the speech award.
Okay. Any other thoughts? You're talking about for example. What else would you?
Well, I think if one's sensitive to, as people do their presentations, they do. I know I do. Sort of make, talking to Dina, I don't know how many times I said lots of ums and ahs because I was trying to hurry through. But to be able to recognise when somebody's made an improvement in their speech, they appear to be more relaxed, and their sort of gestures have a real message behind them. All this sort of kind of stuff there. So maybe one could sort of structure the best speaker in different ways. Maybe a most improved speaker in terms of recognising where a person was and where they are now. So that's the kind of thing that's going around in my mind.
Okay. Do you think, well, what comes to my mind is perhaps it might get a bit too complicated if you're trying to put too much variety into it.
Yeah. But let's say it's sort of recognising how people progress. I think the most improved speaker award might be better than just the best speaker.
Okay. Can I ask the Toastmasters program, the Pathways program, has recognition points along the way.
Yeah.
Is that not enough recognition for people? What do you think? No?
So when you talk about when you say recognition, as in the recognition we give here, no, we're not going on to education awards.
Well, what I'm saying is the education awards which you get on Pathways, like for example you gave to you today,
Yes.
Monica, would that not be enough award for speakers? That's just my thought.
I mean, again, I think it depends what motivates you, and I think that we need to be more sensitive to the sensitive people, perhaps, and those who don't like to compete, who are less inclined to, who may hold back and not participate. I would worry more about those people than those who love the competition.
You said you went to a club the other night that can have best people, etc. How did it compare with what we did? Did you miss it, or do you think they should have it?
So we came to the conclusion of the meeting, and it was weird not to have a celebratory session to say, like, listen, you had out of the 3 speakers for evaluations, our table topics, they actually didn't acknowledge like somebody that did well, or how they improved, or there wasn't like that. I don't don't know, for me it did feel like it was missing that little bit of an edge. So what Adrian was talking about, like, I really like that we should have a kind of a variation to the winning speech, which is like, okay, cool, this person wins because he was innovative. And it's a different way of seeing a person's speech, not just, oh, he spoke really, really well. But then on the other hand, like you say, is how do you measure that? Because essentially what you're doing is setting up a very niche competition, and shouldn't the people, whilst they're prepping their speech, know that, okay guys, we're not having the best speech. Our best speech is actually going to be, must be very innovative. So kind of you have to announce prior to the meeting that this is what the awards are going to be. Your speech needs to be written up in such a way that you're going to try and achieve that goal. So then just come here.
I just have a thought on that. Maybe you want to respond to that as well? I just want to, when you do your pathways assignment, you do a certain project, and if, I'm just a little concerned that if you introduce that aspect of it, it may just distort what you're doing with your assignment.
Yeah, I'll agree to that.
And the other thing that, if you're talking different speeches, I often find that someone with an average humorous speech will beat someone who does a serious speech on a specific assignment because the humor just appeals to people. It's kind of difficult to compare speeches.
I certainly find it very encouraging to be able to stand up there and shake hands with the chairman and receive your little award there, even though you have to sort of put it back again.
Well, put it this way, is there another way that we can show recognition to people in the meeting to give, instant recognition, but quick feedback to a job well done? Is there any other way that you can suggest?
I would like to comment on both Dino and Adrian's points. I do not believe that we must give points on the most innovative speech, because we've got pathways, that has our own predetermined pathway based on our own goals. But the reason that we are all over here is we would like to become better speakers. So what do we need to learn to become good speakers? We need to not use ums and ahs. We need to have good eye contact. So can't we then give awards based on all of our goals to become the best speaker which each of us can be?
Are you sort of saying that every time we've completed projects successfully, should it be recognised? Not in terms of physically giving something over, but just to tell the person well done and a few encouraging words to shake hands with people. Is that enough in terms of an award?
I'm just thinking, because if someone's doing a successful speech, it will come through on the evaluation.
Yes, I mean, it's maybe the awards are after the following session where the person has achieved a particular goal.
Well, everybody's downloaded apps on their phone and play games, and the most addictive part of the game, what actually draws you in every single time, is that like sparkly, oh, you've won, winner, and it's like sparkles, and there's, I don't know, there's something to do with that audio like when someone comes up to the front and is like, okay, well done, you've done really well at your speech, clap, 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 and you get a nice sparkly award, it's very attractive to want to do better. And that's it.
Sparkly awards for me in future, please.
So I don't know, it's that instant gratification that actually draws you in. So that's the one thing I like about the awards. But then on the other hand, it's like, imagine watching somebody play their game and they're getting the awards and they're getting happy and you're like, oh, I'm feeling left out. It's like this, you're not getting those dopamine hits. So you actually feel, okay, I'm not good enough.
Do you get that feeling?
I'm used to that feeling by now. So people just have to look at me and just stay away during my speeches. I'll be fine.
Me too.
But I would like to add on to what he just told us. I do believe that we need to have awards, but we need to change the kind of awards which we have.
Just a thought that someone else raised in preparation for this, which I would like to borrow. Previously, we had pieces of paper on the tables that allowed individuals to share a personal thought on someone's speech. And I saved mine. We haven't done it for months, but I actually have saved mine. I treasured those. Because even if your speech was fairly terrible, but there was someone observed improvement, and they would, so that for me that's better than an award. That personal sharing from individuals to me. I would suggest, I would love us to do that again.
The green light is on. We're going to have to wrap it up. By the sounds of it, we agreed that perhaps the awards is not such a good idea and that we need to rethink it. Just from each of you very quickly, where do you think we go from here? What do we do after this meeting?
I think we should sit down with a piece of paper and draw a little graph of directions that we could actually take.
Spend like a true scientist.
Yes, a little flow chart of all the possibilities, a little triangle, yes or no, see where it takes
Well,
us.
you got support from 2 engineers.
Yes, okay.
I love graphs.
To try and get a visual picture of what it might look like. But I think we're all agreed that there are sensitive issues in terms of the best speech.
Okay.
And the way we're doing it at the moment is not the right way, the better way is it?
Okay. Thank you.
I'll concur with Adrian. I think we've mentioned 1 or 2 good ideas that we can implement. Just try it out. And I think in the next meeting, just, guys, is it a hit or a miss? And we can just have it as in the business session, guys, did we like that or did we not?
Okay.
Move from there.
I see the red lights on. So very quickly. Okay.
I believe we've got very good points to have it and to not have it. And I would like to propose that we open up a vote to the club and we let our club members decide on what they would like.
Thank you. That's a good idea. Thank you. I'd like to build on that.
I agree with everything. I think let's determine 3 or 4 alternatives and let's get consensus from the members by practicing each of them first, giving them each a trial and seeing how people feel.
And as president, are you going to appoint someone to set it up? That's my instruction to you. I don't care if you contribute.
That's not a question. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, just a statement.
Pleasure.
Yes. Give it to Mandy.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I think we've had a good discussion, and judging by the club members, by their attention, I think it was a good topic and well discussed. So thank you for your contribution. To the rest of the group, just while we sit here, let me just finish off by just telling you that this exercise was in gaining consensus, and the project says we don't have to gain consensus as long as I've been through the steps, which I think I have, judging by the body language of the participants. I do hope you enjoyed it. The one thing that the assignment says is there's a difference between consensus and compromise, and I don't think that we've compromised in any way. I think as a group we are still moving towards something that we all agree on that will be a winning factor for all of us. But you guys disagree? Talk to me afterwards. Mr. Toastmaster, that is the end of my
Very insightful. A number of different perspectives, which were very entertaining, and I think also enlightening. Thank you very much, Harold. Our next and final speaker is Annika, and she's been from Pathways at Level 3. Her evaluator is Ewan Kelly. Ewan, if you will.
If I have to. Right, the purpose statement. The purpose of this project is for the member to practice the skills needed to present him or herself well in an interview. Notes for the evaluator: the member must complete this project as spend time organizing his or her skills, identifying how those skills can be applied to complete this role of the interview. The member must design interview questions for the interview that are specific to their skills and ability and any other content. The member designs questions. He or she does not know exactly which questions will be asked. And lastly, look for points, concise answers to questions, and the ability to recover from the ineffective answers.
Ewan,
Mr. Toastmaster.
thank you very much, Ewan. Towards the end of her 5 to 7 minutes, Annika has requested the opportunity of round robin interview type questions. So she will pause at the 5 or 5.5 minute mark and leave a minute or a minute and a half for the floor to ask any number of questions. As Annika steps up, she says, the more introspection, the faster I grow. Accelerated growth requires reinvention. Annika Masangane, I would like to have this job. I would like to have this job. Annika Masangane. I beg your pardon, she actually requires feedback. So a minute and a half of feedback and not actual interview questions. I beg your pardon.
Please have a seat.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kobus Meiberg. I am the CEO of Positive Perspectives Consulting, where negative perspectives are shattered. You saw what I did there, right? Anyways, today we are here to interview Onika for the position of HR Manager. Onika, welcome.
Thank you.
May I ask, what do you consider to be your greatest weakness?
My ability and desire to deliver excellent service. Sometimes it's perceived as being pushy, and my desire to meet deadlines for projects is perceived as being unsympathetic. Because of I have strong personality, I've received comments such as, your personality is a bit different for women. And some will say, have a woman's heart. I took this feedback seriously and I reflected on it. I went to look at my temperament and I discovered that I'm a powerful choleric. When I looked at the weaknesses in this personality, they are unappealing. So what I have done is I've found myself a leadership coach to improve on my communication skills as a leader. And I am a member of Toastmasters, which is also assisting me in terms of developing my leadership skills. I have taken up a course called Neuro-Linguistic Programming this year. It's a 10-month program that deals with language patterns, persuasion, and that is helping me to be more empathetic.
Thank you for that. How would you describe your management style?
I am a hands-on leader by coaching and mentoring. I have strong vision. I have strong visionary. I'm a strong visionary leader, and I assist employees by inspiring and motivating them to be the best versions of themselves, and while intently focusing on the strategic objectives of the company. And in my previous employer, there was an employee who did not aspire to be a supervisor, but I coached this employee, and after 2 years, when I left that organization, she is my successor today. And at my current employer, when I got there, I realized that there was a need for a major organizational culture change. And I've noticed that I would not manage to change the culture alone. I became innovative, and I managed to get 3 professionals from Toastmasters who volunteered to enter into 6-month contract with the employer pro bono to assist in change management, with the assistance of the Department of Public Service and Administration. And the whole program was ran by junior staff, and they were happy. In terms of my relationship building and my emotional intelligence, that was demonstrated when the team brought a grievance against me, and which was resolved in a manner that the trade unions were happy, the employees were happy, and I remained happy and stick to the objective of the company. My assertiveness, decision making, and my communication skills, that was shown when a team of allied professionals were unhappy when we have taken away their scarce skills allowance, because we said they are no longer scarce skills, and they couldn't understand that, and that